The first plant, Ian Garvin. Come on down.
All right.
And I hope I said that correctly. Yeah. Next, Mr. Fred Black. Fred Black. Malvina Shothouse. All right. Pat Lewis. Jane Romero. Let's pick one. Kit's Garden. David Crawler. All right, come on down, David. Betty Burnett.
And on the black back, I said that
Betty
Italy
here.
Park.
Is this one that has a big purple berries on it?
It has beautiful
Rhonda
blossoms,
Fair.
and then they'll do the droops.
Okay. Yeah. Emily Thompson. Nadine Maheen. Nadine. All right. Rita Scott. Now you will have access to Tony and Kara all day tomorrow. If you want to know how to not kill your plants, check it out. Dean Perry. It's Deanna. Oh, I'm sorry, Deanna.
I've been called the wrong name not a whole lot.
I thought you said, I never win. Oh, I'm so
I
excited.
know. I haven't won anything since 1976.
Linda Tyson.
Hayden.
Linda?
No.
Hayden?
No, Linda?
Did you say Hayden? Hayden?
Looks like Tyson. Linda Tyson.
Yeah, Linda. Sorry. Nancy Ratcliffe. All right. Cora Fleet. Cora.
Four.
Lee Keener is not here. He's a tribal counselor, so too bad for him. No, he had to run. Roger Kane, obviously, is not here. Is Roger here?
Spring has beautiful white blossoms on it.
Virginia Whitekiller. Is Virginia here? Dee Dee Brownlow.
Three more.
John Henry.
Two more.
All right, Iris.
Shade. Yeah, here, and in the spring it sends a beautiful white stalks.
Teresa Tucker.
Yeah, and now like about August, it looks like it's dying. Don't worry, it can just go dormant. It'll come. Everybody? All right. Thank you.
we've got just a few little corn packets left. If you'd like some extras, feel free to take what's up there in the box on your way out. And I think that's all the housekeeping issues. Without further ado, let me introduce Kara Harris to you, Tony's wife. She also is a master gardener, and she is going to talk to us about how to set up your own Cherokee Garden. Kara?
Thank you for your warm reception. Tony and I have just been felt so welcome. Thank you. I want you to be successful in your Cherokee Garden. And so the first thing you need to do is to assess your property and look for, and I just take a piece of paper, a notebook with you, and notice those areas that are predominantly sun, 8 hours a day. Look for, the main thing you're going to have to guard against is afternoon sun. So if you have a spot that has afternoon sun, then you're going to have a plant that is really hardy and can take the sun and the heat. In Oklahoma, your plants in Georgia, we get very cold temperatures in Georgia, especially up in the mountains. So consequently, cold is not going to be an issue for you. It's going to, I think heat will be the more determining factor for your success. Of course, we've had drought in Georgia too, and native plants are surprisingly adaptable. What they'll do, they'll just go dormant. If you have a prolonged drought, they'll go dormant and you think you've lost them. And then they'll surprise you next spring. Shrubs will drop every leaf it has. And you think it's gone. Well, don't dig it up. Wait till next spring, because there's a good chance it will come back. Horticulturalists have a term they call microclimates. And all that means in everybody's garden, they have an area that is different from anything else. My front yard is in full sun, but I have a gardenia bush that the leaves are very dense on it, and it casts a giant shadow 24/7. So right there to the east of this gardenia bush, it's about a yard in circumference, stays shady all the time. So I have some plants in there that does well with the shade. But everything else in the front yard is full sun. So just look around your property and you think, well, I don't have any shade. I don't have any place where I could grow a foam flower or fern. Well, just look. I bet you have a little spot somewhere. I would say for those of you who got plants, just baby them this summer, and I'd put them in the ground this fall. Observe your yard for one whole growing season, especially the summertime, and just take notes. Because then, in the fall, you can start planning for what you're going to plant. And I highly encourage you to not just Cherokee plants, but native plants. You can have a beautiful garden with Cherokee plants. You can have. This is the magazine from the American Horticultural Society. And these 3 pages, they've concentrated on native plants used by Native Americans. And you can have a beautiful garden with your native plants. So that's why I brought this book along. Hints for native plants. Of course, Tony talked about no fertilizer. Try to recreate their natural habitat. We don't use a lot of fancy mulches at our house. We use leaf mulch. Because out in nature, what's going to mulch the plant is leaf mulch. And so that's what we use. One of the other benefits, people who love plants, we also love the birds. We love butterflies. And so when you have native plants around your property, you're going to have birds. You're going to have the songbirds. you're going to have the butterflies. And also, I think it's real important. We want to pass our heritage along. It's real important to label your plant. Label. Tony doesn't like it, but when I first started labeling my plants, I just got a round river rock, and I got a paint pen from Walmart. And so I just labeled that round river rock with the name of the plant and the year I planted it. And you can put the purpose. You know, it doesn't have to be a fancy name tag. You can get an old mini blind section and write on it with a number 2 pencil and stick it in the ground beside your plant. And that way, the number 2 pencil doesn't fade or wash off. But if you write with a marker, a Sharpie, in 6 months, all your information is gone. But we want, especially label the plant usage, how our ancestors used that plant. Because when the neighbor child's over and asks you what that plant is, you can give them a little mini lesson. And it's amazing what children keep in their heart and remember. So on the second page, the back page, I've listed resources of the books that Tony and I found helpful. Believe it or not, 10 years ago, this was the first little book we bought. And it's not 100% accurate, but that's okay. That got us started. And it'll get you started. It's in the bookstore. And so here's we just listed some good resources. And all these books are available on Amazon. And a lot of you had shared with us books that you love. And thank you for sharing that with us, because now we can expand our library and learn from them. This multimedia video, I think it's fantastic. Sit down one afternoon with your children or your grandchildren and watch it with them. And then you can answer their questions about it. Now, also, I listed 5 websites. Remember for the mountain stewards who are trying to preserve the directional trees? Go to their website. It is just so much fun to scroll down and see all the different directional trees and how different some of them look. You can go to the Georgia Native Plant Society if you have a question about a plant. They have a good plant list there. Check out the Oklahoma Native Plant Society. I highly encourage you to join that society and go on plant rescues. In the last 2 websites I listed, the first one is Companion Plants. We have ordered rootstock from there. They're a highly reputable company, and so they will send you what you order, and their plant list is correct. You had a question in the back?
I had a comment on companion plants. I placed an order with them several months ago, and the mail lost the order. They immediately shipped out the same plants again.
Mm-hmm. We just found the people are very knowledgeable, and we've ordered online, and we picked up the phone and called, and they're very knowledgeable. The last one there, Nearly Native Nursery. It's in Fayetteville, Georgia. Our friend Jim Rogers owns this company, and he ships small shrubs and small trees all over the country. He really knows his plant stock and extremely knowledgeable, and so I also recommend his. And then the last sheet that we prepared is Beginning Your Cherokee Garden. I came up a list with 18 plants that I really feel you can be successful with without any problem here in Oklahoma. And I also gave you the Cherokee Indian usage, so you can have that information for your label. Driving out here, you had one of these moments and you go, duh. All along Interstate 40, there was trumpet vine blooming everywhere. This was a medicinal Cherokee plant. Now, it tends to grow everywhere. So just plant it in a big pot. Let it grow up the side of your house or on your carport, or just plant it next to a tree so it'll grow. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. So, just add trumpet vine at the bottom. Believe it was a diuretic. They used it for kidney complaints, or mild laxity was the usage for the trumpet vine. Common milkweed. Naturalists all over the country has highly encouraged you to plant milkweed because the monarch butterflies, that is the only food that they eat when they migrate to Mexico. So naturalists are really wanting us to reintroduce the plain common milkweed everywhere. So Christmas fern, a medicinal plant that y'all is in the woods everywhere here. Bring some into your garden. The 7-bark hydrangea will do real well here. Just give it, make sure you give it some shade from the afternoon sun. White yarrow, you can find that even at the big box stores. A lot of them will sell yarrow as in their store. It tends to reseed easily, so next year you may have to pull some out, but that's okay. Crossvine is another beautiful vine that will grow in full sun. Of course, we all know about black-eyed Susans and bee balm, and so here's just a good cross-reference of full sun and shade plants that I feel that will do well here. And I highly encourage you to start your own Cherokee garden, and just start small, and because that way you can share this knowledge and preserve it for your children and your grandchildren. Thank you. Yes.
On this bloodroot,
Yes.
you describe what it says. I was in Georgia, and there was a healer that was using bloodroot to deal with cancer. He would put the bloodroot on the tumor itself, and the bloodroot would eat away the cancer. Have you heard anything about that bloodroot?
No, I haven't. And to be perfectly honest with you, so many of these plants had such multiple uses that Tony chose to stay with what the most common usage was. And my love of these plants, I love the historical and the cultural significance of the plants. And I don't have the knowledge to speak about medicinal qualities. But, and a lot of people are experimenting. If it won't kill you, they're going to try it.
Right.
Yeah. And so, and I say more power to them, try it. But I'm reluctant to address any of that because I have not heard it. And to me, I love the plant because it's an historical plant. It's culturally significant to our people. And that's what I love about it. So, and I hope you have the same love.
Okay. Are there any questions before we all trip over to the Cherokee Garden? You don't want to go, you're certainly not. We're not going to force you, but it's a great little garden. It's not that far over there. Any questions about tomorrow? About this big long plan? I don't think it's going to be raining or tornadoes down tomorrow like we were last year. Yeah.